Hello dear students, welcome for the lecture series on tourism. The topic we are going to study in this section is structure and components of tourism. The topic is divided into the following 5 modules. They are accommodations, airports and telecommunications, natural resources, food and beverage, and entertainment. Coming to the first one, accommodations. Tourism depends on infrastructure, which is generally a complex system of interconnected structure to make travel possible. Infrastructure is largely financed by the government because it requires huge investments. But now, even private investments are also done to develop tourism infrastructure. Accommodation is an important part of tourism infrastructure because any traveler will need a bed to sleep at the end of the day. The accommodation industry satisfies this need of the traveler. Accommodation comes in many forms. Hotels, they come in various categories and standards to meet every possible budget. Motels are motor hotels located on highways. Lodges are upcountry accommodation mostly sponsored by the local state. We would have forest lodges, country lodges, ski lodges, etc. Guest houses were originally meant for government on tour, but they are now open to the public. Furnished apartments are a modern popular alternative to hotels, especially for travelers staying longer. Camps are ideal for trekkers on foot or caravans. They provide outdoor accommodation ranging from tents to caravan sites. Resorts are for holiday makers and located at attractive natural sites like hills, beaches, hot springs, waterfalls, lakes, etc. Man-made resorts are the best latest craze like Disneyland, Universal Studios, Legoland, Jungle Resorts, etc. Coming to the next one, airports and telecommunications. Today, most countries have both domestic and international carriers. Governments indulge in having their national carrier to fly international routes even if they were unprofitable. Non-stop flights from New York to Mumbai or other major distances are commonplace. With the development air travel, the airports have also emerged as an essential infrastructure component to meet the demands of heavy air traffic. Some busy airports handle flights a day with passenger movements of up to 90,000 people a day. To cater to such a huge passenger movement, airports have become mini cities with hotels, restaurants, bars, shopping centers, moving theatres and so on. Airports are controlled by each country's national airports authority. They govern the standards of airports and their use. Governments negotiate with one another to grant certain freedoms of the air to the air carriers of the other country, which are broadly called as freedom of air rights. The airports will tailor their size of operation and facilities to the kind of airline they serve. Principal airports may serve all purposes and have advanced facilities. Airports will have basic like control towers, runways, hangars, loading aprons, taxiways, baggage claim area, ticketing counter and cargo terminals. Telecommunications. It is the transmission of signals over a distance for the purpose of communication. In modern times, it involves the sending of electromagnetic waves by electronic transmitters. It enables the traveler to be in touch with his or her home's base. Satellite communications has considerably improved communications to the extent that anyone can reach anywhere in the world from any point. Today, digital technology has improved communication considerably, giving communication senders and receivers several options such as video conferencing and mobile phone applications. Moving on to the next one, natural resources. A country is lucky if blessed with natural resources. They attract tourists in huge numbers and many countries capitalize on this. These natural resources are a boon to a country and governments work towards capitalizing on such resources. There must be transportation facilities to reach, hotels for bed and breakfast, and other basic facilities should be ideally supported to make a place as a tourism destination. Natural resources are dead without infrastructural support. These natural resources are given below. First one, climate. The hill stations of India are a good example of retreats to get away from the Indian summer. Built during the British Raj as summer capitals of regional British administrations, the hill stations like Simla, Nainital, Darjeeling are beautiful legacies of that period, enjoyed now by free India. Countries like Switzerland and Austria are nestled in ideal mountain landscapes, fostering tourism as their main source of national income. Hill resorts spawn winter tourism as well, giving those ski lovers the wonderful slopes for their passion. Abundant sunshine is another multi-million-dollar attraction. The English had spread the value of sunshine as their own British Isles was ridden with cloudy and rainy weather. They sought locations worldwide during their colonial era to meet their dream of sunshine. Soon, inhabitants of those colonies valued sunshine and developed a beach culture. The suntan was a symbol of having plentiful sunshine during a holiday. While the beaches of the Caribbean, Spain, Florida are legendary sunshine destinations, many countries are capitalizing on this trend to boost their tourism economy. Recently, the conservative Gulf states are pushing beach tourism as a tourism option. We all know that the Gulf states possess unlimited sunshine and unpolluted beaches which compare with the best in the world. The only thing stopping an overflow of tourists in the uncertain political status of the Middle East and social restrictions. In India, oceans are already promoting beach tourism vigorously. They provide privacy with world standard facilities. Next is potable water. Potable water is a great gift to a nation's tourism effort. People in the US and Canada can drink water anywhere without getting infected, whereas water in many Asian countries is a major deterrent to the not so adventurous tourist. Tourists are advised before embarking on a trip to the east to drink mineral water or aerated drinks only. This can be a major deterrent to a fussy tourist. Gulf states in the Middle East are required to desalinize seawater for bathing purpose but have to rely totally on bottled mineral water for safe drinking. Flora and fauna. The flora and fauna of a nation is another great attraction. Some countries like Kenya and even India are abundant with good wildlife, some of which are rare. The Bengal tiger is on the verge of extinction and is a rare species for enthusiasts, so is the one-horned rhino. Similarly, the koala bear and kangaroo of Australia or the panda of China are very typical to those countries. Scenery. Scenery is another natural resource that a country capitalizes on. Many countries are blessed with unique geological formations ideal for promoting drives, tours and treks. They are so unique to those countries that their attraction is a source of tourism income. The India and Nepal are a point in case. Not only do they brag the highest mountain peak in the world, the Mount Everest, but also has the next 3 highest mountain peaks in the world. Accomplished mountaineers make it their dream to climb the Everest as their final achievement. This has spawned multi-million-dollar adventure tourism of the Himalayan mountains. The Antarctica was a forbidden land not so long ago. It was not because of the lack of curiosity of mankind, but the means to access it. Human creativity has made it accessible from New Zealand or Peru for the common man. The hills and dales of Scotland or the steppes of Mongolia can give breathtaking views of nature enthusiasts. Activities. What happens to those countries that do not have natural resources to fall back upon for their tourism? They create activities of excellence that promote destinations. Some classic examples of recreational activities that promote tourism are Disneyland in Florida and Universal Studios in Hollywood, California. These are man-made attractions that give tourists unusual experiences, be it a boat ride through Jurassic Park or a train ride through Wild West town. Festivals like Mardi Gras in Brazil or the Oktoberfest of Bavaria are internationally known. They give the world a flavor of the costumes, dance, food and beverage that signifies the festival. Cultural events are promoted by most tourism departments to promote the folk arts of the nation. There would be theatre troupes and venues specifically for the purpose. Sports are a big reason for travel with the professionalizing of most sports. Sports like soccer, tennis, cricket, rugby, etc. attract their fans to full stadiums. Shopping, as we have seen, is a must for any traveler. One of the biggest examples of shopping tourism is sponsored by Dubai, where a state involves the entire city to build a shopping festival to promote tourism. Moving on to the next, food and beverages. As with food and beverage production and service, there are a number of food and beverage service methods. It should be remembered, however, that unlike food and beverage production, food and beverage service is that part of the catering operation seen by the customer, and it is often therefore this aspect of the restaurant that can make or spoil an establishment reputation. The critical point at which customers temper conflict in food service operations is at the service counter or table. The hotel food and beverage department is another important section of the hotel and is considered second to the front office in terms of generating revenue. Broadly, food and beverage department can be divided into two sections, food production and food service. Food production center, basically the kitchen, is the place where the chef works to prepare the delicious combination of food. The kitchen is divided into the following sections: continental section, bakery section, pantry section, butchery section and Indian section. Continental section. This section is responsible for the preparation of soups, roast dishes of meat, poultry and grilled dishes of meat, chicken and deep frying of items. Bakery section. This section is responsible for hot and cold sweets including pastries, cookies, cakes, breakfast items like bread rolls, muffin, banana multibread, plain bread, etc. Indian section. This section is responsible for a variety of Indian dishes, rice pulao, biryani, vegetables, egg, fish and mutton, chicken and tandoori items. Pantry section. This section is the part of main kitchen where all variety of salads are prepared. This section also supplies tea, coffee, fresh juice, soft drinks, mineral water, etc. Butchery section. This section is situated a little away from the main cooking area. In this section, the meat items are trimmed up to the first stage, that is, the removal of excess fat, skins and other non-edible parts of the meat items. Responsibilities of Food and Beverage Department. To ensure that all service standards specified by the management are implemented. To ensure all stall under his or her control is properly deployed and utilized. To ensure that housekeeping costs are controlled. To ensure standards of cleanliness are maintained. To ensure that all forms of registers that are required by the management are maintained completely in all respects. To ensure that inventory of the stocks and materials and standard stock levels are maintained by the housekeepers. To ensure overall staff discipline with regard to conduct and work performance and to take requisite employees as needed in consultation with executive housekeepers. To ensure that the proper stocks are maintained. To ensure that neat and clean uniforms are being received from the laundry. To ensure that uniforms are being maintained in proper condition. Duties of Food and Beverage Department. To check from time to time forms and registers filled by housekeeping. To ensure upkeep, maintenance, cleanliness of the entire hotel and handling all complaints. Coming to the last one, entertainment. It is a huge field of activity for every kind of taste. Entertainment can express itself from the palace on wheels in Rajasthan, India, where a rail journey relieves the traveller of the old Maharajas. A boat trip by the Maid of the Mist under the tremendous Niagara Falls can be memorable. A trek to the bottom of the Grand Canyon in Arizona or an air flight around Mount Everest in Nepal can be once in a lifetime events. Entertainments at modern facilities like Joyride in theme parks and water worlds have transported entertainment to new heights of excitement. Each city also has its entertainment centers consisting of theatres, nightclubs, restaurants and bars. Each country also like to promote their national dances and performing arts and provide such facilities for travellers to see and enjoy. Folk music and dances provided by heritage centers that excel in ancient arts. Tourism products of India. The tourism product focuses on facilities and services designed to meet the needs of the tourist. It can be seen as a composite product as the sum total of a country's tourist attraction, transport, accommodation and entertainment which result in tourist satisfaction. Tourism products are essential pull factor for the tourist destination. The diversity in tourism products attracts large number of tourists to the destination. The tourism products can be grouped on the basis of relevant similarities. Natural tourism products. Natural resources are frequently the most important elements in a destination's attraction. These are more closely associated with natural environment. These include natural resources such as area's climate and its setting, landscape and natural environment. Man-made tourism products. Man-made tourism products are created by man for pleasure, leisure or business. Symbiotic tourism products. These tourism products are an excellent blend of natural or man-made resources. Nature has provided the natural resource and man has converted them into a tourism product by managing them. National parks, wildlife sanctuaries, marine parks and zoological gardens are good examples of symbiotic tourism products. Event-based tourism products. Where event is an attraction, it is event-based tourism product. Event is a thing that happens or takes place, especially one of importance. It is a planned public or social occasion. Events attract tourists as spectators or as participants in the events. Sometimes it can be both. Sporting events like Olympics, Football World Cup and Carnival in Rio de Janeiro are event-based tourism products. Site-based tourism products. When an attraction is place or site, then it is a site-based tourism product. Examples of site-based tourism products are Taj Mahal, Eiffel Tower, Pyramids of Giza, etc. Coming to the conclusion, tourism is a complex phenomenon, one that is extremely difficult to describe consciously. Any model of tourism must capture the composition or components of the tourism system as well as the key process and outcomes that occur within tourism. These process and outcomes include the very essence of tourism, the travel experience and the supporting means by which tourism is made possible. Accommodation is an important part of tourism infrastructure because any traveler will need a bed to sleep at the end of the day. Telecommunications now include several devices and processes like television, radio and telephone through networks such as television networks, radio networks, computer networks and public telephone networks. Networks are transmission towers spread geographically that communicate with each other. Food service may be defined as that phase of the food law mainly concerned with the delivery and presentation of the food to the customer after the completion of food production. Beverage service may be defined as that phase of the beverage law wholly concerned with presentation of the beverage to the customer after the completion of the beverage production. The hotel food and beverage department is another important section of the hotel and is considered second to the front office in terms of generating room revenue. Broadly, food and beverage department can be divided into two sections, food production and food and beverage service. Food production center, basically the kitchen, is the place where the craftsman and artist work to prepare the delicious combination of food. Thank you.